Hello, and welcome to Recorder on the Wall, the place where I cannot think of a clever intro, so I'm just going to stick with this. I'm Katie.
I'm here this week.
And
that
you
was
are?
My introduction. My name's Drew.
I'm Scars. I'm here.
I'm Matthias720. I'm definitely not here. I'm in your imagination.
Oh, okay.
We're having an existential crisis.
I'm Jeremy, and I'm mostly here.
I'm Pete, and I'm still here. So
I'm alive.
It's been a long day.
Pete.
It's been a long day. Give me a break. So yeah, hey, we have the full crew here. That's awesome. All six of us. So yeah, we finally came back to a Redwall book after taking Halloween off, which, hey, that was actually kind of fun. So.
Indeed. Even though I wasn't there for it. It was fun.
But unfortunately, there will be no lakes kidnapping people, or mummies sacrificing teenagers, or what else?
What kind of parties do you go to?
What? That's the kind of haunted house I want in my life.
Or nagging vampire moms.
Oh my
Jewish vampire mom.
Yeah, Jeremy has a very good impression of the stereotypical Jewish mothers that really worked for the last episode. So we may have to employ it in the future.
Are we gonna get hit by some person who's like profiling?
I really hope not. So if it is, I'm trying to say it's all in good fun, but we'll go along. So we're in the next chronological order. We are to Outcast of Redwall.
Yay!
Apparently we said this very early on, and I didn't remember this because I had someone mention to me on Twitter that someone said this was their least favorite book.
Oh wow!
Not mine.
That's pretty common for a lot of people.
I actually had a quote about that. I took it off of my shelf yesterday, only to find that it's brand new. I have not touched it since I bought it. It's the only Redwall book that I have not touched since I bought it. Because I read it at the library, and I bought it just out of obligation to have all of them. I was not a fan.
So I guess the term Outcast Redwall is meta in this case.
Nice.
I actually like this, but I liked this book, except for the fact that the title is a complete lie for the first third of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
and a good portion of two.
Better title.
Yeah, it probably should have just been called Sunflash the Mace.
That's not very uncommon, though. Have you guys ever thought about the Lord of the Rings? The Lord of the Rings literally is Sauron, and he is in 10% of the book, maybe.
Your audio is breaking up, dude.
I just got, poor connection. Did you hear any of that?
Most of it, yeah.
Sort
that Sauron is the title character of the trilogy, but he is only in 10% of the book at best.
Yep. So it's not very uncommon.
No. To be fair, if we actually go through the series as they are, you could make a strong argument that the original book isn't really named after its core character. Manameo is. Mossflower is not.
Well, no, it's not even just that it's not named after the core characters, like Mossflower is about Mossflower, Redwall is about Redwall. This book is claiming to be about a character that is in it, that is barely in the book.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil too much right now, but I believe there's a few reasons why people believe this is their least favorite book of the series, but a lot of times I think that's a little bit misguided.
Hello.
Sorry. I need to mute myself.
It's definitely not my least favorite. I think my least favorite out of all the ones I've read might be Loamhedge, just because that one really was a complete lie, because I thought it was going to be a flashback to about Loamhedge, and it totally wasn't.
But have one of the most BA fight scenes of anything, and probably my favorite death scene.
Okay.
It's a
there was
awesome
a fight on a log. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
That part was cool.
And I haven't read it, so.
Rest in peace, Pete.
You have to put a gun to my head right now and tell me to pick my least favorite. It's probably Pearls of Electra. So.
Oh, I
love
that one.
I'll explain when we get there, but.
My
As we're
least
going
favorite
through
is
all the books. Anyway, sorry.
My least favorite, if we're all confessing, is Bellmaker. I love the setting. I just feel like a lot of it is the black sheep of the series in terms of the original kind of classic Jake's style before we really hit like the modern era. It's just a little bit too different for my taste.
Yeah.
For a while, that one actually was my least favorite because it was the second one I read, and I was expecting a sequel to Martin the Warrior, and I had no idea what was going on for like the majority of the book.
Could you remind me which one that is again?
The Bellmaker, where they go to like a completely different country in that one, like Southsword, I think was the name of it.
Fun storming the castle, kids.
Yeah,
Mariel Redwall.
Yeah, it's the sequel to Mariel Redwall.
Yep.
So my least favorite is either Sable Queen or Rogue Crew, just because...
Rogue Crew.
Yeah, at that point I was just like, okay, I think you're running out of ideas, dude.
Yeah, no, Rogue Crew was a hot mess. I changed my mind. Outcast is no longer my least favorite because I actually have a physical copy of Outcast. I do not have a physical copy of Rogue Crew.
It almost feels like Rogue Crew wasn't finished by Jake's.
No, it was.
It almost feels like it. I don't know when it was published and how close to his death it was, but it almost seems like he didn't finish it. Like it was fleshed out, but then someone else.
If I remember right, I think it was published about like 2 or 3 months after his death.
The beef I had with Rogue Crew was that all of the Redwall books were written in this very flowery, lovely style that is, meant to be read at kind of a higher level, but can be understood by anybody over the age of probably 4 or 5. Rogue Crew starts with a character burning alive.
Jesus!
That's not a spoiler. That's within like the first 3 pages.
Wow.
And it's fairly graphic. But it's written like it was written for second graders. So they switched the style. It's more adult themes written to be understood by children rather than,
So you're telling me Jake's had
a
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So you're telling me Jake's had a Tarantino phase in his writing?
Yeah, it was. Oh my God! They described the charred corpse they found later. And
it just makes me think of some of the stuff in Doom White.
Yeah.
Some of the creepiness. Because I haven't read Sable Queen or Rogue Crew, and I'm waiting until we get to those.
I didn't mind Sable Queen terribly. I didn't mind Sable Queen.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't.
Okay,
I happily reread it.
Let's get to Outcast. And before we, we gotta keep us on task here. Here's the thing, and let's outright address this right away. Because it's an elephant in the room, and I just want to. Hey, there's an elephant. Look, one of the biggest series criticisms, and to be absolutely fair, it's entirely true criticism. One of the is that of the whole species equals alignment. You'll see this with Lord of the Rings as well. But in Jake's mind, when he wrote this, there are very few what we call gray characters who toe the line between good and evil. Now, I put in neutrals whenever I do our character diagrams in our sheets, comment sheets for readers to get an idea. But for the most part, neutrals are either they either aren't explicitly helpful to the main party or a villain for that matter, but they really don't have a general impact on the good versus evil parts of the story. But with some noted exceptions, minor characters exception, there really isn't any breaking of these species are good, these species are bad, with the exception of two of the 22 books. This is one of them, Tagarung being the other. Mm-hmm. Now, we're really not even going to discuss this. We can't really even discuss this in this episode because the character in question, the one the book is ultimately named for, he's not alive yet. Sork hasn't shown up. So, it's kind of hard to talk about him when we haven't even seen him alive quite yet. But I just want to, those of you who are new to the series and listening to our podcast, this is why I really wanted to cover this in Tagarung, is to talk about the fact that things are so starkly different. What is good and evil is so very much so. There's not a lot of middle ground in between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just...
Did you say that you don't necessarily want to go into all that in this episode?
Well, the character in question isn't even alive yet, like I said. We will in books 2 and 3.
Okay.
Probably more so in 3.
Yeah. Alrighty.
I mean, we can mention portions of it, but we also don't want to spoil anything before we get to it. Kind of.
Okay, this is one thing I would like to say right now.
Please.
The story with Swart, the character Swart, and later Sunflash, isn't that bad. And this is where I think a lot of people are a little bit misguided in thinking that Outcast of Redwall isn't a good book.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I like Sword a lot more now than I did probably 8 years ago when I first read it.
No, I've always liked this story. I just, again, am a little bothered by the age inconsistencies that are happening. But that's always going to be a thing, and I think I should just let it go.
So you're saying it's a continuity problem?
Yes, definitely.
Badgers get old slow.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, we don't see her yet, but Bella is in this book. She's still alive, and Martin is dead.
Somehow.
Very dead.
Right.
Hella dead.
Martin's dead. We'll cover that.
No!
Oh, no.
We'll cover that when we get to book 2, but yeah. But badgers, yes, they live long, and we're not sure. The life expectancy in this series is not well defined by any means.
Yeah, and I will say that. I will buy that. Badgers live long, sure. But then you have the ferret and the badger, Swart and Sunflash, are supposed to be the same age. And then throughout the story, they kind of seem to age at the same time. I'm just like, okay, first you're telling me the badgers age differently, and now you're telling me that the badger and the ferret are the same age all the way through.
Maybe it's...
Get over here, Swart.
Maybe badgers do, in the end, live longer. Maybe they just stay in like their physical prime longer than some of the other species.
I'm picturing Grandpa Swart just like, I'm with you, Sunflash.
Don't make me bash you with my club.
He's going around with a walker.
It's surprisingly not known, but Vermin HR does provide for nursing home care. It's just almost never used.
Yeah.
Come here, Sunflash. Come here. Sunflash. Let me get you.
Now he's the Yoda.
Or Herman from Family Guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got that one.
Yeah.
All right,
But let's get to this proper.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get to this proper. So our story
I do want to say that with the introduction. Go on.
The story begins with a prologue. Sorry, can I go? Are we good?
Yep.
Okay.
How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. Anyway.
What? Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm moving on.
Just go.
The story actually does not have a prologue in Redwall. What?
Dun dun dun.
Oh no, our prologue is in Salamandastron.
Dun dun dun.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And
You know what,
we
so
actually see...
Lord Brocktree was the exact same way.
Was it?
Yeah.
Lord Brocktree prologue and epilogue were in Salamandastron.
Oh, right, with Russino.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, we get to see the hare school and a bunch of leverets, and they're all the little hares. I corrected myself. Are pretty entertaining.
Yes.
I love Burbob. He has the single best quote in all of Redwall, and as I was reading this, I just could not stop laughing. I'm not about to do it
please,
justice.
go ahead and...
It's the scoffing a load of our grub and not telling a story. I say, what a bally swizz! And 10 out of 10, I want to use that phrase in my life forever. What a bally swizz.
So, yeah, if basically the story is we have this ancient otter who is visiting the mountain, and he outright tells the leverets that, hey, Redwall or youngins are better behaved than you are. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah, they almost killed 2 people in the last book.
I was going to say.
Have you met Metameo? No, they're not.
Maybe this is one of those inter-story generations that we never hear about.
At some point that we haven't seen, the kids are actually well-behaved.
How do you think they become elders?
I do like the threat. I do like the threat to get them to be well behaved here. Is basically that it's like if you don't let him tell his story, none of you will eat dinner.
Oh no!
Oh no. Yes, but Robo. So yeah, he agrees to tell him a story, and then we have. Oh, that came actually after the Nightshade the Seer's poem. Ah.
No. I forgot
it's okay to forget about that.
Oh, yeah.
So our story literally begins with brain damage. No, I'm kidding. I can only make that joke so many times. Well, we learn about Scarlet the Kestrel, who left home late, and because he's a hawk, he does what he wants. I don't care what you say, Mom and Dad. I'm going to go where I want. I'm going to go north.
I'll do what I want.
I'm frozen to a tree. How did that happen? Well, we learn that Scarlet, he wakes up and he's got a ferret looking at him. He's like, ooh, breakfast. That's a little dark. Okay.
I mean,
it's not the first time we've heard of vermin eating birds, so, you know.
Nice to meet you.
Killed the Kestrel. The Ice Age.
Oh boy.
No.
Chill.
No. You will not bring up that movie again.
Cool party.
Jeremy, why?
I love ice puns. They're very cool.
Oh boy.
Okay, Jeremy, you take point here.
Why such a frosty response?
Nope. Jeremy, you can take point.
I'm going to physically break my own kneecap.
Please don't do that.
Anyhow.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
What?
No, I said you take point for the rest of this chapter. I'm good. You're gonna do puns. I'm gonna make you work.
Work? But that requires working.
Shut up.
Well, one thing I liked about this chapter, or like about this story, is Swart, unlike our other villains, he doesn't start at the top. Like, he's just the leader of a ragtag little band at the very beginning. Whereas, like, Tsarmina was the head of Kotor, and, Verdaga was the king, and Vilu Daskar, was like the master pirate. Whereas Swart's just kind of like a punk with like his little gang.
Started at the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah.
And he does have hardships. I mean, it shows that he definitely has ups and downs throughout. And so he's definitely not on top all the time, and he definitely has some struggles. He's on the struggle bus a lot.
Yeah, he really claws his way to the top.
6 claws.
Yes, compared to most vermin, he has 6 claws on one of his paws. So, you know, I've heard there's a Spaniard after him, but I can't confirm it.
He may or may not have killed someone's father.
You're going to have to narrow that down, actually.
Yeah, his father was 4. That's that's a feat.
Actually, well, I like the fact that when Sunflash remembers, for the most part, remembers his mom's name. He remembers his grandfather's name, who he never met, but he doesn't remember his own dad's name.
Nope.
That's really sad. Sorry, Bark Stripe.
Well, he'll meet him later, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh.
And, yeah, so Sunflash, yeah, brain damage. I'm making the joke again, because when Sunflash is able to talk, when he first see him, Sunflash is hobbled at both his arms and legs, and has a muzzle on, and when he finally is able to speak again, he's like, oh, who am I again?
Yeah.
Where am I?
And we get the return of super coincidence theater of Scarlath giving Sunflash the exact same name that his parents did.
Wow.
Yes. Badger magic.
But before that happens, Sunflash grabs a big chunk of wood and bashes the ferret on the paw.
Ow.
So, yes, he breaks all the bones. Like,
Ow.
If you saw an X-ray, there's probably be a pile of powder.
Swart powder claw.
Yeah.
And then he starts killing the random vermin, and Scarlet, hey, in a rare show of common sense in this series, is like, you're gonna get overwhelmed, get the hell out.
Yep.
Okay.
Run!
Yeah.
And I love it, he's just like, but I have to kill them all. I must kill them all. And Scarlet's like, you're gonna die. He's like, but Badger, murder.
But I'm a badger! You gotta kill them all! It's in the manual!
See,
Something
that's
I
right here
noticed.
in the book, The Guide to Badgers. You really must kill all your the vermin leader that you have blood wrath against, and every one of their underlings. Huh. Well, let's put a pin in that.
You don't have to
like
do it all
some
at once.
Django Unchained stuff.
But yes,
Well, oh, sorry. If I can just cut in. I love the one line. Sunflash is just going to town with this giant piece of a tree, and the line is, Scarlath decided that his friend was totally mad. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. He just goes,
wait till we meet Krega.
Oh, God. Krega, who spends most of the book creating a new weapon only to throw it away to strangle the villain.
Yes.
Spoilers. But yes, so they run away, and Scarlet, after he names him, they convince him, hey, maybe instead of like going to your death by attacking all of them, you should do a little guerrilla fighting and just take out one or two at a time and really freak him out.
Yep.
And that's a good idea.
And Sunflash is like, so I'll live, but they'll all eventually die. Win-win.
Yep.
mm-hmm.
Huh. And we
the
find
Badger...
and Sunflash essentially, like, this is all in the same chapter. Sunflash then, like, we get a time skip, and Sunflash is already, like, a legend. Martin, you are a slacker. It took you a whole book to become a legend.
Well, 2 books, arguably. Because, as we all know, Martin the Warrior, either he chose not to remember it, or forgot it for other reasons.
Yes.
Like, Martin,
Yes,
what did you do before you got here? I don't know, something about roses? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh. Yes. So the two are like, okay, we're gonna play hit and run tactics, and then Swart takes this well.
Very well.
Very, very
he's
well.
just basically
Out on his underlings.
Yeah, because let's think about his other major underling, kind of the seer, who, well, she has probably, again, the most common sense for vermin we will see this entire time. Really could pick a boss better. Could pick a better boss.
Yes. I mean, I just gotta say, if he would have listened to the woman, this whole thing could have been resolved. She was like, "You should go get him tonight." And he's like, "Nah, we'll get him tomorrow." And she's like, if you don't get him tonight, you're going to be chasing him for the rest of your life. And he's like, "Oh, shut up."
10 seasons later, boss, I don't want to hear you say I told you so. That actually should have been like her last words at the very end of the book. Like, Sword, come close.
Well,
I have one last thing to tell you. What is it? I told you so.
Well, unfortunately, yeah. We probably won't get a Grottle and Ergen again, because that was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So, revenge is a dish best cooked while the trail is hot.
Yeah.
And you let the trail go cold.
Yep.
They basically figure... After a couple of seasons of they're playing kit and run tactics, they basically... Swart's like, "Hey, I'm losing troops here. Maybe we should... I should figure something out here. Let's go back to my old boss." Wait, what?
The main villain can't have a boss? Oh, he's dead. Never mind.
We'll get to that.
Spoilers!
Because the next thing Sunflash finds is a family of foxes who are terrorizing a combined hedgehog and mole clan. And he doesn't kill them.
No, this is our first difference between like Sunflash and some of the other Badgers we've seen, where if this was Boar or Orlando or Brocktree, those foxes or Craig, those foxes. Okay, so if it was Boar, he would have cut them apart. If it was Krega, you'd see pieces of the foxes all over the land, with their tails hanging in the doorway of a "don't mess with this house ever again."
Yeah, those moles
Slice
would
and
have
dice.
fox fur coats.
Yeah. If Krega was there wouldn't be enough of the foxes to make, like, fur cufflinks.
They'd have stew.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, the hedgehog and moles just exit, and there's Craig is stirring a cauldron. Hello. Wait, what? Where did they go? Oh, they're not far.
Yeah, like how
that
Sarlacc
was
flies in, and they're like, "Oh, great, first foxes, now they're birds. Do you want to eat us too?" And he goes, No, don't worry. My friend Sunflash the Mace is outside. He's scaring the living heck out of those foxes.
The foxes aren't even named.
If this was real life, the badger probably could have eaten the fox, because that's what they do.
Well,
Yeah.
Baby foxes, yep.
Oh.
Look it up on
I never
YouTube.
think that they were...
I'm
sure I want to.
Not joking. Badger goes in, bullies out the parent foxes.
Nope.
Yes.
Well, here's the
All right,
thing.
look
These are full-grown foxes. I kind of read that the mom and dad here are on the older side, and their young ones are. If they're not adults, they're close to it. So
you're
They're
saying
all
they'd be
enormous,
too?
apparently.
They wouldn't be good to eat then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I Googled it, and the first thing that showed up was Badger eats midget.
Okay.
moving on.
Was he in a fox costume?
TMI.
Yeah, moving on. So, yeah, Sunflash chases the foxes away, and he basically says, "Don't come back, or I'm going to kill you."
Yep.
So, and we'll never see them again. Bye.
And we don't. And
No.
The families are like, "You're our savior. Here, rest while we go make food." And, onion and leek soup.
Yeah.
So this is a combined clan. We have, and I'm probably going to slaughter names, Terry Lingle and his family.
Yep.
And he has his wife, Deary. Really inventive on her parents' part.
Oh, yeah.
They are the hedgehogs, and they have 4 kids. We have Rough Dubbo, and he's a mole family. He has his wife Lily, he has daughters Nilly and Pod, and he has an uncle and aunt.
Blun and Ummer.
Those are very mole-sounding names.
Hey, let's get this. As names go in this book, there are some that are like, really? And then there are some that are like, oh, okay, that works. And there's some that, like, Sunflash actually makes sense.
I like Scarlath, too.
Yep.
Yeah. But some of the vermin names, let's see, Lardtail. Oh dear. Scarback and Marble. Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, Shang Damsonton. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Well, she's not around for long, but we'll get to her.
I actually kind of like that. I think that name's kind of cool, Damson Tongue.
She maybe has 10 lines, you know.
We have Bluefin. More on her in a long time. I got a long rant on that
one.
Oh,
Bluefin. Oh, I feel so bad for her.
Bullflay the Warlord, who we'll see next. We have Smart the Newt.
Oh, yeah.
It's better.
What about the Crow? What's his name? It's like this goofy Crackalack or something? Or...
Craculat, yes.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, Bonebeak, his wife, actually makes sense, but... yeah. And, yeah, but yeah, it's not quite as bad as Floater, or the others we've seen.
Or Kangaroo.
Oh,
yeah. So, Sunflash decides to settle down for a few seasons with these group that he saved, and it's happy. And he outright admits to himself that he's actually content here. He still has to leave, ultimately.
Yeah.
But it takes...
calling me.
Yes. And I want to point out that he didn't need drugs for this. It's happening all naturally in his dreams.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, dude.
When he has the most clear one, it's after he's been bitten by 2 adders, so, you know.
Oh, yeah, and they drug him up something good. They give him good drugs.
Yes, they do. So, yeah. So that, we can actually shelve them for a bit, because more entertaining... Swart goes home to Bowflag, and he's just like, hey, can I have my old job back? Well, okay. But just, I want some your wine. Okay.
Here.
Hey, this wine tastes funny.
Is it poison? No, of course not. Oh, wait, let me pour it in this very nice silver goblet for you.
I thought this was very clever, in like a very dark way, but very clever.
Yeah, it shows
the game of warlords.
Yeah, Swart's definitely not... On the physical side, he's definitely not up to par with some of our previous villains, but he's definitely very crafty.
Yeah, and in the traditional, you want to take out somebody that's above you, you either do it by physically backstabbing them or get them to commit their own downfall. And so I was like, Smart must be a moral vox to pull off a chalice poison gambit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Bullflag, he's like, okay, Swart, you drink from the wine, and Swart takes it right from the jug. And then, Swart's strategy to poison his former boss, because he never got his last paycheck, was basically he deliberately poisons the silver chalice he pours the wine into for his boss, including the huge Spinecracker, his bodyguard. Yeah, he has another name, but where's the...
Wurg.
Wurg, yeah.
Wurg.
And I was writing my notes very late at night, because I was laughing so hard when I realized this the next day. I rewrote the names in the death column for when they died. I didn't write Bullflag and Spinecracker. I wrote Bullflex and the Spinecracker. And, yeah.
That sounds like a band.
We are Bullflag and the Spinecrackers.
Well, instead of a very fat old warlord that Swart finds, he finds this massive ripped one.
He's gonna pump him up.
But no, he's poisoned. Her bleh.
And that's the end of that chapter.
Yep.
Not before Nightshade totally says, "I'm totally not with Swart, and I've seen death because I'm a seer, and you should all follow Swart now."
Death!
Yes.
I was actually kind of glad that Bowflag wasn't long for the story because his accent was especially hard to read.
Yeah.
What was that?
It was phonetic accent.
I mean, when I was started reading this series, I had to actually read the mole dialogue out loud to understand it the first time.
Yeah.
Like for the first book or two, but I eventually got used to it. But Jeremy, you're not wrong. Bowflag was very hard to read.
Yeah.
Following that, so yeah, Swart has the Horde now, and he just added a bunch of new troops to his camp, and he's not going to stick around Bowflag's old camp. He wants to go, conquer and steal treasure and do what warlords do.
And he's acquired a wife somehow.
Yeah, let's talk about her, because this bothers me.
Oh my god.
Oh, you mean the silent one that never does anything? Oh, yeah.
She doesn't have any lines. The best we see is that and I'm quoting here, she stays out of his way because she knows what kind of rages war chiefs can get into. She makes food for him, and serves long enough, and I'm spoiling book 2, to bear him a son and die. In other words, Senya from Martin's mom has more character.
Yep.
True.
And here's where it bothers me. Maybe it's just my adult sensibilities, or maybe I've read too many stories with good Cersei Lannisters or Daenerys Targaryens. But this is a waste of potential. Game of Thrones characters, powerful women from those books, who are incredibly good political operators. Or if you want to bring up some of the Lord of the Rings ladies who are, just as smart as their male counterparts, whatever. This is wasted potential, because here we have, essentially, a princess who, her father is poisoned, and the guy who poisoned him is taken over. Now, you could argue that, Jake's, and I'm not knocking him, because we're not here because we enjoy his work, but Jake's really could have taken this another way. He could have made her an equally good political operator on her own, the fact that he needs her just to keep the loyalty of Bowflag's troops, or she could have been secretly undermining him this entire time because he killed her father.
Right.
Prepared to that.
Tried to take over the Horde herself.
Yep. And I mean,
But
I love these books, and I love Brian Jakes, but just as a woman, I'm just so tired of seeing this. Like, a woman who exists only because Jakes wanted to have a child, and so she has the child, and then she dies, and she never says anything, and it's just like, okay, that's great. Thanks for that.
Well, and like I said, even though Sanya serves the same purpose, she has more character. Not much, but some.
Well, could it be possibly that any possible characteristics she could have had were shuffled off into Nightshade?
That's a good point.
I mean,
that
maybe.
Genuinely is a good point. That maybe there, but yeah, I know I'm ranting here, but this bothers me. This bothered me considerably when I read this, because I'm sitting here thinking, like, we could have done so much more with this character. But it is what it is. Okay, there's my soapbox. I'm off it.
Soapbox achieved.
What else? What happens after that? I'm looking at the one.
He meets up with the crows.
Yes.
Yep,
And,
you find out that his two assassins kill an old crow, and Swart...
there's Bill's motorcycle.
That's outside my house.
That's Sunflash's motorcycle.
Sunflash's motorcycle. So Nightshade goes off to...
Just like his mom.
Huh?
Just like his mom, I said.
Yep.
So Sunflash rides off into the sunset.
Indeed.
And so, yeah, Nightshade goes off to check ahead with the two assassins and comes back. It's like, look, Lord, we found plenty of food up ahead. Here's a dead old crow that's mostly bone and nothing. And Swart's like, what are you trying to do, poison me? And he's like, no, wait, I can use this. There's two captains who are rebelling against me, and he feeds the captain the dead, disgusting bird, and he chokes on the bone.
That was genuinely disturbing. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this is also the first time, because then we find out that it's like the crow's son is all pissed off about it. I think this is the first time we've had bird characters where they've also been used as food. And, I mean, obviously, there have been threats in previous books, like with the sparrows, like, oh, we should shoot them down and cook them and things like that. But in this one, we actually have, like, full-on sentient speaking characters now reduced to some dude's meal.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, we are told previous vermin leaders maybe would have cooked and eaten a bird, and we just told, oh, they're having wood pigeon, but we never saw them before while they were still alive. So it was a lot easier to dismiss.
Right.
Kulo the Savage.
Oh, yeah, that dude ate everything, though.
That was the one from Rackety Tam, right?
Yep.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, he was... Oh, yeah. I remember him.
So, yes.
Well, we can now go back to something happier, such as Sunflash relaxing and enjoying his life, and oh god, there's two adders.
Yes.
Hey, where did the mole kids go? Oh.
No, it was the hedgehogs.
Oh, sorry, hedgehogs. Hey, where are the hedgehog kids? Oh, they went to go play in the swamp. Wait, what?
Somebody once told me.
They're going to see Shrek.
Oh, boy.
And so, yeah, Sunflash discovers that these kids are under attack by two adders, and just goes, all right, I'm going to kill them. And jumps in, and he kills one adder by stepping on it repeatedly while it's underwater, and kills the other by, smashing it and then throwing it off into the distance. And so it hits a tree and wraps around one of the branches.
I'm okay. I'm not okay. And that could have been the snake or Sunflash, because when he makes it back to shore, they're like, hey, they bit you. Are you okay? Huh? What? Okay.
Yes. And I think, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the only instance in the history of Redwall where someone gets bitten by adders and lives.
With the exception of Chicken Hound Slagger.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If you can call that living.
Well,
yeah,
Sunflash ends up a lot better off.
He went nuts. Considering he went nuts after that snake venom, it's amazing Sunflash didn't come out with any mental damage.
Revenge on Swartz!
Well, you were going to do that anyway.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all right. After this mental damage, Sunflash woke up with more memories, so I don't know.
Yeah.
All that mental damage got poured into getting dreams and visions.
So, yeah, you guys were right. He was on drugs. So
Good drugs.
Good times.
And we meet a new character, a squirrel named Elmjack.
Elmjack.
Oh, hey, yeah, I know how to heal adder poison, so, oh, your friend's been bitten. Okay.
Man, it's convenient that I'm here, isn't it?
Will Sunflasher be deaded?
Oh, yeah.
Deus Ex Machina.
Sunflash dead? Sunflash is dead.
He's only mostly dead.
I like, though, how Jakes writes children, he didn't write the children to be very aware of what was going on, because children really aren't. I remember, this is not the same thing at all, but I remember my dad had a dog that he had before I was born, and when I was about 3, he got really sick and died, and I didn't understand what was going on. I was just like, oh, where's the puppy? And they're like, well, the puppy's not here right now. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to play now.
So Sunflash gets some really good visions on this snake venom. And We get, for the first time, at least in the books we've covered, like, the most explicit appearance of the afterlife in this universe. I mean, it's hinted at considerably with Martin's ghost kind of doing things to Clooney's psyche. And the terms Dark Forest and Hellgates have certainly been mentioned, but not really explored before this. Now, you could actually argue that Sunflash is on a heck of a lot of snake venom, so is this real? Or is this all in his head? Or is it like Harry Potter in the Harry Potter book 7 and it's both?
I was just going to do that.
Just fantasy?
Oh,
okay, thank you.
Feedback.
Thank you for that screech.
Ow. Ow.
Sunflash's like, I could see my dad, man. There's my granddad and my great-granddad. Great-granddad's got an axe.
Hey, Brocktree. Hey, Boar. Hey, we haven't seen you in a while.
I like how...
Hi. Oh, you're dead.
Yeah. And I'm going to point out, so in this one they show Brocktree is wielding an axe, but of course, he had the sword in the book. I'm going to go with two theories. Either he thought the sword wasn't scary enough, or Boar showed up wielding a sword, and he's like, all right, darn son of mine, you insane weapon is me. I'll show some I will. I'll make a battle axe.
So he had an actual axe to grind.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, in this vision, Barkstripe is the only one to genuinely talk with his son, minus one line that both Boar and Barktree get to share. But, yeah, you can't really blame him. He basically turns into, he's a 3-year-old when he finally sees his father. So he tears up and he's like, "Dad, where you been? Oh, right, Tarzan killed you in a violent rebellion. Put down."
Oh yeah, you died. Yeah, it would have been funnier if Boar and Brocktree looks and it's like, "Grandfather, great grandsire, what helpful advice do you have for me?" You should have killed the foxes.
Wait, what?
But that was seasons ago. I saved all the moles and hedgehogs. Yeah, you're a wuss. Great, we got a hippie grandson.
Well, arguably that's Barkstripe since he...
This is your fault, Barkstripe. You should have been a warrior.
I died in fighting the cats. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, I didn't hear about you winning against the cats.
Brock would be like, yeah, that was his younger brother. That was Ungat's younger brother. What are you complaining about? I was how much older than you when I fought him?
And Boar's like,
as I recall, Brock, you didn't actually...
The difference is I took him with me.
As I recall, Brocktree, you didn't actually kill Ungat. Roddle did.
I broke his spine and threw him in the water. What's not my fault the waves decided to throw him back on shore.
And now I've just got to imagine Sunflash. He's just kind of sitting there blinking as these three males just start squabbling at the gates of the Dark Forest. Guys, hey, we'll get to you in a minute.
It's just that stereotypical group of old men who have been friends forever, but they still have the same arguments.
Grumpy old badgers.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God! Someone needs to make that movie. So yeah, they basically said, "No, you're not. We're not letting you die. You need to go to the mountain." So yeah, go back to life now.
And he
by the way,
his
Bella's
mommy.
your mom. Yeah. By the way, Bella's your mom.
Yep.
Wait, what?
And Bella's like, "I'm not dead yet, but I'm still talking to you."
Man, this
I'm
is
not
really
dead.
good
I'm just very badly aged.
Sunflash wakes up and goes, "I see dead people. This stuff is great."
You nearly died. I do, yeah, Katie, as you mentioned, I do like the kids when they were like, they mentioned, Sunflash is sick. Yeah. Well, badgers can't get sick. Who told you that?
He's just sleeping, for a really, really long time.
And he's got low blood pressure. And his heart's kind of erratic.
Hibernation.
And his face is a little blue, but that's normal.
Oh, no, it'd be green, just blue and yellow.
Oh, we haven't mentioned. Yeah, it's a thing in this character design. Sunflash's middle stripe is yellow. It's never explained why. Moving on, he wakes up and he's just like, "Oh, I need to go to Salamandastron. Where is that?"
Yes. Oh, and I
But
did
back
notice,
to Swart.
like, back to
Go
Katie nitpicks stupid stuff. But in in the Salamandastron poem about with the different sets of words, one of them has 2 T's in it. Like, that doesn't work. I can't remember which. Let's see. I have to go through the whole poem. Alas.
So Starland a man?
Yes, that one. That has 2 T's. No. Bad anagram. Try again.
Well, I didn't notice it before. Now I will. I guess I can never read this book again.
Oh, no.
Now it's officially the worst book because they screwed that up.
Gee, thanks.
Oh, well, Jake's was only human.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
I didn't.
Yes, he was.
I didn't notice it, and probably 95% of the people who read the books haven't noticed it.
Yeah, hashtag court reporter. It's a very real problem.
Bring out the torch and pitchforks.
Yep. Anyway.
So yes, basically, Scarlet and Sunflash set out, but not before the squirrel says, "Here, take this mysterious green stone. I won't explain what it is."
Yeah.
And if you ever need help, you can ask otters and squirrels if
Sunflash.
you show them that stone.
Sunflash is like, but I was already stoned. No, not stoned. Stone.
It's the heart of the ocean, or whatever it was in Moana.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Part of the
Titanic.
ocean's it's the diamond from Titanic.
Oh.
So, anyway. So Sunflash sets out, and his first person that he meets is a newt. And this newt's kind of a jerk.
He's newt what he seems.
And Sunflash outright bites him.
Oh.
No, I'm not kidding.
I thought he flicked him in the head.
Quote, "The badger nipped the invader nearly by the baggy neck skin and held it aloft."
I thought that meant like he grabbed him with his paw, like its paws.
Well, I mean that could be too.
Yeah, considering he talks to him while he did that too. I don't think. Otherwise, he'd be like, "Hey, little friend, what do you want from me?"
Yeah, you good point.
I mean,
but might as well do this now. But go ahead.
I think that's his British slang a little bit. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
I think I've heard that
That
before.
would make sense.
Give him a little nip between the ears.
So, but then might as well cover this now since we're on the topic. How anthropomorphic are they? How anthropomorphic are they in this book? Because we deliberately go back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Going by the artwork on the back of the book, it shows, or at least on my version of it, it shows Sunflash standing with full tunic, holding, on 2 legs, holding the club in one hand, and Scarlath just kind of hanging out on his other hand. So he looks like he's standing upright with full-on hands.
And I'm not denying you, much less the chapter artwork tends to lean toward Anthro with one noted exception. Chapter 3 depicts the Fox family, and they're on all fours, no clothes, and
They are naked.
basically more on the feral side. So they're a nudist fox colony.
I was going to say they came from a mossflower nudist colony. Don't judge.
Well, arguably, Chapter 1's artwork literally begins with Swart, who looks fully anthropomorphic with a tunic, and he's riding Sunflash, who is naked, in the north.
Also,
okay then.
Cruelty.
That should have been Sunflash's first words then after that should have been, "I'm cold!"
Back to the plot. Sunflash basically bribes the newt, "Hey, I'll feed you, you lead me through the swamp. Deal? Okay, good. Hey, why am I sinking?
Jerk.
There is one constant throughout all these books: is reptiles are just jerks.
They all are.
Yeah, so far. I don't think I've seen I don't think we've one that it wasn't neutral, and I've marked Smirk as a villain here, not neutral. But yeah, they're outright villain. So probably the one who's the least jerkish because he's just hungry is freaking Asmodeus. So.
No, actually, I'm thinking Snakefish from Mossflower actually, because he does help them get out of the pit and then just goes after the toads.
Oh yeah. Forgot about him.
But he was an eel. He wasn't a reptile.
Oh yeah, good point.
There was the
So,
There was the one little lizard. I believe it Muriel of Redwall, who was being kept as a pet.
Oh yeah, there was him.
But he wasn't necessarily intelligent.
No, we haven't gotten to that one yet. So.
Get around to it.
So yes, Sunflesh is now sinking into the swamp, and Smirk's like, haha, I've got my eel and slowworm friends, and they're gonna eat you. Have fun with that. And, yeah, he's kind of sinking. Help?
Help.
And he does yell out his war cry instead of help because, alright. And Scarlath comes in and grabs the eel and hikes it up like super high and goes, I'll kill you if you don't get my friend out of there. Free him, please.
He's very useful to have around.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is.
It'd be a shame if anything were to happen to him.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Oh, of course.
Yep, absolutely.
So, back with Swart, yeah, we get our... I wanted to bring this up because we get our first mention. Is this the first time Salmanastron apparently has a secret treasure hoard that we've covered so far?
I think there's been one before. But maybe
Well, to this point...
I think chronologically, this is the first time. Because I don't remember them. I don't remember them mentioning it in Lord Brocktree, and I think just in Mossflower they were saying they had heard rumors of fire lizards and stuff, but I don't think they mentioned anything about a treasure.
Yes. Sword basically said, so I heard it from an owl, and they apparently there's this huge treasure hoard, and the badgers keep it for themselves, and we'll invade the mountain and take it.
Well, he's also lying about
you guys
that.
with me?
And flat out said that
yeah.
he's lying when he talks about the owl. I think Swart just wants to kill Sunflash, and his captains are saying like, "Oh, you just want to kill the badger. What do we have to do with what are we getting out of it?" And that's when he spins the tale of the treasure and everything, and that's where the whole thing started.
Well, I mean, we could argue when Farrago hears this rumor, God knows how many seasons later, this is where it comes from.
Yeah, it could have been passed down to descendants from any survivors of Swart's group. Possibly.
I mean, yeah, spoilers, it ends up being true, but...
Yeah. That's still 3 books away.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like... Now, we all know Swart's out for revenge, but this book actually kind of points out revenge as kind of a sucker's game, because Swart, bad things happen to Swart when he keeps going after Sunflash, and the Crow Brethren, they keep trying to kill Swart, and they keep losing crows to them.
Yep.
Even to the female lead of the group's like, hey, this is kind of stupid. Can we stop?
I will say...
They killed my mom.
I will say we do get a good moment of Swart being a competent, actual, military commander, because when the crows first attack and burn everything, Swart's forces are just losing it and be like, we're all going to die! And Swart goes, all right, hang on, everyone move to this one spot, pull back on start shooting your bows. Oh, they're heading our way? Quick, everyone duck down and hold your spears. Now, quick, hold them up. He keeps a cool head and sets up a successful counterattack and gets the crows to leave. Like, this is our first real indication that he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an incompetent warlord. I won't certainly say that. But he arguably spends more time having to worry about someone else trying to take over or eliminating potential rivals than he actually does actually warlording.
This is true. He does have a lot of people trying to...
Warlording.
That's a great verb. I'm going to take that.
He does have to deal with a lot of a lot of disgruntled employees.
Yeah, he needs HR, better HR.
Well, you could argue his HR is basically forcing his minions to eat crow.
Yes.
Oh. That was bad. Bravo.
I was going to say that was good.
Yes. I do want to point out that the crows, when they do their initial attack, are kind of brutal. Swart has these two bodyguards who are assassins and these bulky weasels, and they're garroted by crows.
They get full on, like, Agent 47.
Yeah. Like, they're not bitten, they're not, pierced with talons, they're freaking garroted. The crows wrap this thin twine around their necks and pull it back.
Yep.
Dang.
Children's book.
Yep. For kids.
Healthy dose of reality.
The crows eventually abandon their thing when a group of foxes decides to help Swart out because Swart kind of stumbles into their territory.
Well, that's when they went into the it was the sandstone gully, and they hid in a cave. But the one thing I wanted to mention while they were traveling there, the rats kept on getting picked up by a pair of crows and lifted up and dropped from a great height. And this is one of the few times that we see a size difference. It says that the rats figured out that they're the only ones who are small enough for the crows to pick off like that.
Also, I was gonna mention, is this the first instance that we see that instead of just a horde of fighting beasts, it's like a big traveling, like with babies and families?
It is, I think.
Yeah, it really is, and that makes a big difference with how they travel and the speed they can travel. And Swart mentions that.
Yeah, we generally, vermin families are rare in this series as it is, and this is one of the few explicit examples we're going to get between Swart and Bluefin, who is not doing anything over there.
Yes, serving food like a good wife. Grrr. Anyway.
But yeah, you've got a point that he is traveling essentially with families because Bowflag's settlement was a permanent one, permanent camp, and no, we're just going to walk around. Well, it doesn't completely go well, but that's when again Swart runs into this group of foxes, and we have what's her name?
Shang Damson Tongue.
Oh, hi, Shang. You're gonna work with Swart and be co-leader of the Horde, and you're dead.
That's the end of that chapter. That was quick. Hopefully, at least got half a chapter.
Yeah.
Don't meddle.
Shang Damson Tongue is introduced and killed in like the same paragraph, essentially.
But this actually is a bad idea because it brings forward a worse rival for Swart. Balefur, the large male fox. It's established really quick. A, he's a competent leader in his own right. He's strong enough to take Swart head on if he chooses to, and the Horde actually respects him because instead of Swart, who we're actually told deliberately leads by fear because he thinks it's the only way you inspire loyalty. Balefur can actually make friends among the common troops, and they can tell he has respect that way.
He's one of the few really charismatic vermin that we see in the books.
Yeah. And he seems very smart because he figured out right away about the cup, the silver cup that was poisoned.
Mm-hmm. Fool both like once. Well, he's dead.
Yep.
Fool Shang twice. Well, she's dead. You ain't gonna fool me.
Nope.
Or he could have just been like, "Nah, I'm a Puritan. I don't drink."
No, but I think he enjoyed rubbing it in Swart's face, like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna give me the silver cup, huh? It's not gonna work."
Everyone knows I drink from this hip flask. Yes. So yeah, back with Sunflash, he manages to get out of his predicament because his bird friend saves him by threatening the lives of all the worms and eels and everybody. But then 2 otters come in and pull him out.
These guys are funny. I like them.
Yep.
Are they brothers or are they just friends? I wasn't really sure on that.
I think
they're bros.
Yeah, the bros, bro. And I kind of like this. They're the kind
seriously,
of bros that I like. They're the kind of bros that are like good old bros, not like the stupid jerk ones.
They're the kind of guys I see at the gym.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
I just got this image of Fulrig and Ruddle lifting weights at the gym. They're like, "Yeah, man, let's go."
Yeah, you're ugly. No, you're ugly.
I can bench press more than you. No, you can't. I'll bet Sunflash could bench press everything that we bench and the both of us combined.
Yeah. Let's do some reps, Sunflash. Come on, man. Take it to the limit.
Your reps are uglier than mine.
Your form is off.
Oh. Sunflash and the Broders.
Yep.
And Pete's dead. All right.
No, I'm just laughing at this. I knew I had to let you guys go get living out. I almost wanted to make a joke, protein powder, but I couldn't get a good form.
More like protein powder.
8 o'clock.
So yeah, they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll help you travel your way," but yeah. And then you get a mention of Scarlath is like a bird version of a facepalm because then he watches Sunflash wrestle the 2 otters together.
And Sunflash is like, "Hey, so you got a boulder stuck in your backyard here. I'm gonna move it." And they're like, "You can't move it. I'm gonna go move it." And
she moved it.
And he moved it. And I love the fact that he goes outside to move it, so he ends up sending it tumbling through their home.
Oh no, my China collection. Aww.
Whatever will we drink our soup out of now?
It actually annoys me kind of how strong badgers apparently are. Because, at least the way I feel it was described, if it was big enough to block an entrance to their cave and they couldn't move it, that thing must have weighed probably 4 to 5 tons.
More than Sunflash weighs, anyway.
Yeah.
And even if it was perfectly round, something that size on a perfectly flat surface is not easy to move.
I know.
I can see
it's not as bad as we're going to see with Earthright, but that's another story.
Spoilers.
Yeah, the strength of badgers in the series seem to grow as the series goes. In the very first book, Constance was obviously more physically imposing and physically more powerful than the other creatures just because she was bigger than them, picking up a gigantic table and things like that. But it never felt like it meant...
that's feasible.
It felt more toned down as opposed to, "I'm going to take this giant boulder and kick it through your house here." It felt more natural with Constance and even Orlando in Madame Mayo, and they kind of used him sparingly as well.
He didn't have great feats of strength. It was just obvious that he was a very powerful creature, Because if he was as powerful as Sunflash here, then he could have gotten him out of that cave real quick.
Yeah, he would have. He would have just ripped that whole monument off the wall and thrown it down a pit. So.
Yep.
Too OP. Got a nerf.
Admittedly, we would have never seen Orlando in Manameo if he was so strong, because he could have just picked up a rock and hefted it, and he would have hit Slagger all the way from 2 or 3 football fields.
No, they would have gotten to that giant gorge, and he would have just push the 2 cliff sides back together.
Oh my God. Have you seen that one Popeye cartoon where he reaches a bridge that's out over a ravine? He throws an anchor and he pulls the other side closer so he can just drive across.
He attaches his axe
so that's
to a
what
rope.
Blood Wrath is.
Yeah.
That's what Blood Wrath. It's canned Blood Wrath.
Yeah.
And they eat it like spinach.
Wow.
I fight you, they finish, because
I'm
eat
Sunflash the Badger Man.
Speaking of Blood Wrath, because we'll cover it anyway. We see it. We see a minor bit of it, and we see it in full view of it.
Oh yeah.
We see Blood Wrath Major and Blood Wrath Minor.
Yeah. The minor bits is that early on, Sunflash, when he first gets freed, he definitely just wants to take them all on, but he can at least see more reason. When we get to the pirates in a bit, oh no.
Oh, no.
I think that was because it had something to do with children. I think that
It does.
he just gets very protective
We'll get
for
to that.
children.
That's
he had a soft.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
Good character part of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
so we also find out where the green amulet stone that Sunflash is carrying. There's a story behind this, and I actually like this because it's genuine lore.
Yeah, I like this part.
And it's we find out there was groups of squirrels and otters who kept to themselves, really never bothered with each other, except their 2 sons of the chieftains. And
no, a son
they
and a daughter.
Oh, excuse me. My apologies. Son and daughter, the son of the Squirrel Queen and the daughter of Skipper of Otters, they play together, and then they get sieged by sea rats, and they have to fight them off with slings and rocks. And by the time the grown-ups show up to kill the sea rats, presumably, and the kids were down to 1 rock. And that's the one he's got.
Yep.
So that's why all otters and squirrels will respect you if you're carrying it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool, too.
I kind of like genuine legends like this in the series, to tell you the truth.
Yep.
So, the otters basically agree they'll help get him to Salamandastron. But he's got to deal with their shenanigans along the way.
Their bro antics.
Bronanigans.
Yes.
But they don't really get terribly far, because when do they get?
They decide to take a rest after getting to the top of a hill, and then all of a sudden Sunflash wakes up in the middle of the night. He's under a net. Someone's bashing him in the head again, and they're like, "Hey, look, we got a big sea rat!"
That's a really freaking big sea rat.
Yeah.
And more brain damage.
Yep.
And eating all his skillion duff.
No. Back to Swart dealing with his main rival, another one. So Balefur. Balefur's not stupid, so he basically tells Nightshade, "Hey, we're gonna do this secret plan, but we don't know what it is later." And the secret plan is, hey, we find out there's this quarry of red sandstone that there's a family of adders living in.
Now that sounds so familiar, and I have no idea why. Red stone. Oh, it's probably nothing. It's probably nothing.
You're right.
And a family of adders living in it. So, basically Nightshade says, "Oh, I'm totally with you. I hate my boss." Why are you awkwardly trying not to wink? No reason.
Didn't we just say that Balefur was smart? Because this is Wouldn't a fox know best not to trust another fox? Honestly.
You would think. Maybe maybe it's the, like, he thought she was kind of attractive, and she was like, he thought that maybe she was flirting with
way
him.
older than him.
You know,
It's canon now.
He's into cougars. I mean,
I was
older
just gonna...
foxes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Let's keep it PG, folks.
Actually,
Older.
she's a foxy lady.
That was good.
This part actually does make me think of, like, it reminded me of back in Mossflower with Mask and Fortunata, except, like, the roles are reversed, where this time the evil vixen is actually succeeding in tricking the other character and gets the last laugh.
And, we are given a reason for this, but it's weak. But I'm thinking in the back of my head, why doesn't Nightshade actually be genuine here and want to get away from a bad boss and towards a boss who actually does respect his people?
I think she's following her... I think she says later on that she's following her visions, and she has to do what they say. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're given. And I'm just like, you're a seer. You're one of the most common sense people in this entire book, and you have to follow your visions. Really.
In other words, because the plot says so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She
hey,
has
Balefrey, want to go get the
visions.
treasure for yourself? So, hey, Balefrey, you want to get all the treasure for yourself, but Swart's hiding in that gorge that's not hissing and have rattling sounds coming from it?
And ignore those two old stoats that are nearby that say that it's cursed. They're just witches. They'll prevent you from going in there and totally getting all that shiny treasure. It's like, why did you just laugh maniacally? I didn't.
You're imagining things.
So he takes the two foxes with him, and what is that hissing noise? Aww.
What is that mysterious hissing noise?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Spooky.
Hey, young Asmodeus, you want dinner? Do I? No, it's way too early for him, but my headcanon, these are his ancestors.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
It's Asmodeus' ancestral home. So back to Sunflash, who's been beaten over the head for the 50th time. Oh, wait, where's that Martin?
And the otters.
Yeah. And he finds out, it's shrews. And Log-a-Log is like, the head shrew is like, oh, shoot, it's a badger. And one of his other shrews is like, oh, it's a badger. Kill it! Kill it!
Yeah.
He could be with the sea rats, and you've got to look at, like, every other person in the room. Otters, Sunflash, even Log-a-Log, just kind of glare at him.
Like,
really?
Really, dude?
Yep. This is. I mean, I guess you got to think that he's a daddy, and his kids were taken, and so he's a little bit irrational right now.
Yeah, I can see that. And then the minute they're like, yeah, our kids were taken, and Sunflash is like, I will look for them. I will look for the kidnappers. I will find them, and I will kill them.
Death to the child murderers.
Pretty much. And Sunflash immediately is like, which way did they go? We think they went that way. All right, I'm going to go break things.
Let me get my motorcycle, my sunglasses, and my leather jacket. I'm going to terminate them.
And Log-a-Log's like, you forgot to say please.
Come with me if you want them to not live.
Wait, are babies or the rats?
We'll see.
And I have to question the sea rats taking kids. Yeah, they can roll oars, but they're going to be a lot efficient than adults were.
Kind of super evil. And Sunflash gets more super strength and uses 2 boulders to block an entire river.
Yes.
Hey, didn't last time someone do this, a castle sank? Oh, I'm sure they're fine. What's that screaming from those houses over there?
Redwall's like, why is the pond growing? Yeah.
So yes, Sunflash puts boulders in their way. He climbs on ship and he's like, "Sup, guys? You're getting the kids back now, or I'm going to kill you all."
Yep, and the captain grabs one of the baby shrews. And
yeah, he has a name, but it literally is mentioned. We see him in one scene, and he's dead.
And
so I'm not going to bother.
He becomes mace fodder after this. So
he has a very nice Scottish accent in the audiobook.
Interesting name for the ship, the Gut Prow. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the prow does get gutted.
That's true.
And very much so.
And, he's like, "I'll kill this babe." And he's like, "Don't do it." And he's like, "I'm gonna do it. Move the rocks." And he's like, "I'll kill it." And then all of a sudden, Scarlath, for like the third time this book, comes in to help out Sunflash.
Yeah, I think Sunflash would be dead, like, maybe even before the swamp if it hadn't been for Scarlath.
I think so.
Avian Ex Machina.
Yep. But then Sunflash sees that the little child was hurt, and Scarlath looks and goes, "Yeah, we all gotta get the heck out of here right now."
Yeah.
Sunflash gets that, like, normally with the Badgers, we know they're all super dangerous. Sunflash is more like, don't mess with the cute ones. Like, Sunflash is this gentle soul, but usually that's the type of piss them off, you're really in trouble. Because that's the type of character that doesn't know how to hold back when they're angry. And Sunflash just kills every single sea rat on this ship.
Yep, it's always the quiet one.
Full on blood wrath.
Yep. And I do like the moment, though, where the shrews are like, "No, we don't want to watch this. Kids don't watch this." And the Ore Slaves, though, are cheering him on.
Yep.
And he turned them into puppets.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It's like, you missed one. Oh, no, wait, that's just his head going flying. And, yeah, when Sunflash finishes, he's just quiet and breaks the ship and sends it out to sea and just sits by himself. And I do not see that, this is not the reaction we would have gotten from, I'd say, like, Boar or Brocktree or Orlando, in the next book, there's a scene similar to this that's kind of off-screen, and then when we actually revisit that Badger, he's perfectly fine. Like, this actually does sit poorly with Sunflash, that he has this type of rage and warlike monster, like, within him.
Yeah, so, obviously, I mean, for comedy's sake, I would make the joke that Sunflash kind of blinks, looks down. Why am I covered in blood?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's pretty clear here that a Badger at full blood wrath, they're not really in control of their actions, but they sure as hell remember it.
Mm-hmm.
And this disturbs him. Other Badgers, not so much, but this one, he's just like, oh, crap. I kind of lost it.
Yep. And I do like, though, because Scarlath knows his friend, and it's like, "Kids, go and cheer Uncle Sunflash up." And cheer him up they do.
Yes.
So, we will see other Badgers who do not, either A, don't have any trace of the Blood Wrath, or B, I think I've read about him, but I've never read the book. There's one who learns to control it. And we'll have to talk about that when we get there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's Lelia.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't read that one either.
So I could make a Dragon Ball Z joke about Super Saiyan, but that'd be too easy.
Yeah. No, just the similar,
especially with the gold stripe.
Yeah. Super Sunflash.
Just saying.
Yeah. But it's
Waka waka.
Yeah, I was just thinking of, we'll get there, but in the next book, when Ron Blade does the exact same thing where he just slaughters an entire ship, but you don't get the feeling that he shows any remorse for it.
Mhm. Yep.
But yes, the babes cheer him up by getting Sunflash to practice his cricket.
Yep.
Yep.
The right
cricket? You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
Well, thanks, Raph. See, the couple of you who are old enough to have watched the Ninja Turtle movies in theaters, you got that joke.
Yep.
If those of you who haven't earned it, well, go watch the original 90s movie because it's awesome.
Yay,
Yep.
90s!
Tubular.
So, the book kind of ends with Sunflash making it back to the mountain, but he tells all his traveling companions, look, you're always going to be welcome where I'm heading, but even my hawk's going to need to take off for a bit. I need to go do this last leg on my own.
I have to go now. My mountain needs me.
And the last bit we get in this part 1 of this book is almost word for word taken from the last chapter of Mossflower.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no motorcycles.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, he comes up and he's like, hey, that's a nice mountain.
Mine.
Can I have it?
Mine.
And these two very, very, very old hares are there to greet him.
Very familiar hairs.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
These poor things, though,
And,
they must be super, super infirmed. Because, like, again, the age thing, like, if they lived as long as a very old badger, because they were little when Boar died, I guess. Yeah, they just must be very old and sick.
Yep.
Well, again, there's a huge question of time here, because we're told in the last book that Sunflash was already born by the time Barkstripe led his failed rebellion and died, but Sunflash himself seems to indicate he was really young when he left. But what I got from Mossflower, from Bella's, that Sunflash was at least old enough to take care of himself, so teenager, young adult.
Yeah.
Or reckless child.
That could be, yeah. Maybe like, I don't know, 10.
Ran away from Paul.
Maybe at the earliest. I mean, he has some brain damage, and... Okay, bad way to put it. He has some amnesia, apparently, at the beginning of this book, which brings up all kinds of questions. But, I always kind of read it that Sunflash just watched his father die, and though his mom was not willing to abandon Mossflower, he had to think that Sarmenia and Redaga were going to come after him. He's technically the next heir of a displaced dynasty. So, yeah, I probably need to get the heck out.
Mm-hmm.
But that was before he was like, oh, I was young when I left. What?
Yeah. I liked the ending to this, like, even though it's literally like copying and pasting the text from Mossflower, but I like how it does update little things. Like, at the end, it's Scarlath looking down on him as he enters Salamandastron, which obviously that was not in the original.
I really like that. Like, I like their friendship a lot. It seems like they really care about each other and they know each other very well, and that's just not told to us, it's showed to us.
Yep.
Yeah. So, let's see. Yeah, that's the end of the first book. I'm just going to make sure I didn't forget anything. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot happened in that book.
Swart, I mean, you can make fun of Damson Tongue for eating damsons to dye her tongue purple, but we're also told Swart dyes his teeth with some sort of red dye. Did they mention what kind?
I don't
no.
think so.
Beetroot
And he
juice.
puts like
Oh, wait.
I'm just... Whoever the vermin dentist is going to be a
Blood of his
gotta be on
enemies.
his case about, like... Yeah, whatever. Okay, you want to dye your teeth red, but your enamel's breaking down, and I'm tired of making replacements for you, so quit it. No.
Wait.
Swart's like, sure, I will. And to celebrate this new dental milestone, here, have some wine out of this cup.
I got it.
And the dentist just glares at him.
We call him by a different name in a different book, Red Tooth. Just saying.
Huh.
Nice.
What else?
think that's...
I did mention that, one of the otters we meet, I'm pretty sure is the one who began the story. Isn't it?
I
No.
don't think so.
No, it's
wait.
No?
It's Willbrook.
Let me
Willbrook.
double check this.
Yeah, no.
No, it's not. Oh, never
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, overall, this is not a bad start. A lot happens, but no, it's actually compelling. We do have most books do follow the villains a bit, and we see what their point of view is, but not nearly this extensively.
It feels like we're following both Sword and Sunflash kind of equally and watching both of their paths until they converge again.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And you'll notice Redwall hasn't come up at all in this first book.
No, in this book titled The Outcast of Redwall.
Huh.
Yes. And
I wonder
No,
how they're
after
going to bring
21
Redwall in.
years, I am still not over that.
and I did enjoy this, but I mean, the only thing that brought it down for me is the bluefin thing, which we've already talked about at length, so I won't go back into it. But otherwise, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was good.
And we can definitely get into, species equals alignment next time, because we'll actually have the character in question to talk about. But, yeah, it's coming.
Yep.
But, yeah, this is a good start. There wasn't as much food porn as we're used to, but that's kind of... I mean, yes, the hedgehog and moles cook really well, and Sunflash acknowledges it, but that's about it.
Yeah, we're going to get more of that in the next book, if I remember correctly.
Well, we haven't seen Redwall, so...
Yeah.
Well, no, let's also, once Sunflash is actually in Salamandastron, if I remember right, he helps out with a lot of the cooking and farming.
He changes out some cabinet members, some of his staff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, we should also probably mention at some point, talking about what does Salamandastron do when there is no Badger Lord or Lady in residence?
Just hang out.
Yep.
Anarchy.
Yep. All right. Well, that should about wrap us up for this episode, unless I missed anything.
I don't think so.
I'm good.
Very good. Okay. Well, we'll see you next time.
Wait,
folks.
we
Oh,
got to tell people where they can find us online.
Fine. I know, we need to.
You can find us at recorderonthewall.com. We are also on the Eulalia subreddit on Reddit, and we are also on the official Redwall forums in some capacity, and we have our own Twitter account at ROTWpod, as well as an email address, rotwpod@gmail.com. We are also on iTunes and Google Play Podcast.
Hooray!
Yay!
You did it in one breath. I don't know why you do that.
Huh?
I don't know why you do that.
Why or how? Or both?
Both.
Because.
Anyway. All right, folks. Well, I'm Pete.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm
I'm
Katie.
Matthias.
Oh, almost.
Oh, yeah, almost did it.
Oh.
Try again.
No,
You
neither
go
of us
first.
wants to go.
Pressure!
Well, Katie's first and Matthias.
Okay, I'm Katie.
I'm Matthias, 720.
Woohoo!
We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.